What's up, rockers?
I'm Kaz.
And I'm Shay, and welcome to another episode of For the Record with Kaz and Shay. Kaz and I were doing a thing where we're talking about our top 5 musical experiences together, and I guess this is part 2 of that. Kaz, what are we going to be talking about today?
This is my favorite one.
Really? Well, I can't wait. Tell me.
Monumental in every way, just with what was going on in Seattle with music. The legendary Sonics just got back together for their properly first time full-length album in almost 50 years.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. So the Sonics, if you say that, the average person is going to think of the Seattle Supersonics.
They do.
So obviously we're talking about the band, the Sonics.
The Sonics.
Legendary garage rock band. Where'd they start out?
In Tacoma, Washington.
And around mid-60s? Or
Yep.
Yeah. And so I think if you talk to any musician from Seattle, 70s, 80s, even into the grunge eras, this is a band that was heavily influential on the entire scene.
On the everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, the documentary that Jordan Albertson made that should be coming out hopefully soon has all those guys in it. It's got Nancy Wilson, Chris Ballou. It's got Mike McCready. It's got Kim Thale in it.
And I think he's still trying to add more.
Yeah,
and,
they keep
growing
Mark
that.
Arm,
yeah.
Mudhoney.
So this was a show that they were playing. Where were they going to play?
This was for KEXP radio station, a benefit because they were in the process of moving. So this was Record Store Day at Easy Street Records.
Yeah, and Record Store Day events are always really special because I don't know how many people can see a show at Easy Street size-wise, 150 or 200 people, but this is a big event that a lot of people want to go to, and just to be able to attend this is like a real treat. It's an honor to attend it. So how did we get, I don't remember how we got involved in what became a really big day, more than just this.
Well, I had been working with the Sonics and going on tours with them since I got back together with Dusty Watson.
And that was like, when did that start?
2015.
2015, okay.
And at the same time, I had also been involved with Brandi Carlile's camp and doing photos for her, shooting events, private events that were amazing. Brandi is very active in a lot of great causes. One of them, Fight the Fear campaign, Looking Out Foundation, helping against like domestic violence and helping women with self-defense training, holding seminars, classes. It's phenomenal. And I had been doing photos for this private event the previous year for them. It's held at some friends of mine's house. They have Tom Douglas, big restaurateur. He caters it. $500 a person to get in. About 50 people there. All the benefit goes to those foundations. Brandi is very just amazing woman. Since then, her machine has gotten so big, so well insulated.
Yeah, won a whole bunch of Grammys.
Yes, 6 so far.
That's awesome.
But
and so this was a little before. I mean, she was pretty big then, but she's become even bigger since then.
The Firewatcher's Daughter had just got released, and that was such a mind-blowing album. And so a year earlier, she was well known. And that's kind of when I was doing photos for all her events and stuff, and it was really cool. And anyhow, juggling 2 amazing artists, it's kind of like...
Yeah, we're talking about 2 big events happening on the same day. So where did we go first? I think we went to...
Well, I shit my pants because I was like, how am I going to pull this off?
Okay, Brian, I can say something about you not being able to control your body functions and say that happens a lot, but it truly doesn't. This is a really big event.
It is.
I mean, 2 huge...
I mean, we got called to actually film and make a video for Brandi's Looking Out Foundation, so we brought Mark and Angie with us, some friends of ours that have great camera equipment, microphones. So there's a lot of pressure going. I'm sitting down, I have to interview Brandi. It's like, wow. I'm like, I've never had to interview
but before,
someone, and especially like a Brandi Carlile, who now between with these events, you know, we go there. First off, I have to go help out with the sonic rehearsals.
Yeah, and that I think was at
Store Day.
I think that was at the Pearl Jam rehearsal space, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and so to see the Sonics on stage hashing out songs with musicians who probably know the songs, but maybe they haven't played them before.
Right, because the Sonics hadn't even played
for a long time.
Yeah.
So I remember Matt Lucan being there. Matt Lucan of Mudhoney,
Mark Pickerel there.
I think was Chris Novoselic there at the rehearsal.
No, he didn't do the rehearsals.
Okay,
Ben Shepherd.
Oh, geez, the funny story about that. My friend Brian, he's adorable. We're adorable. We're sitting there talking to Matt Lucan, and this guy comes up. He's a big dude, and I'm like, I think that's Ben Shepherd, but I didn't say anything. And Brian and I don't say, hey, that's Ben Shepherd. So we're just talking to him, and then as the conversation wraps up, what did you say?
Oh, I just looked at him. I had the roster because I was in charge of the roster. Like, okay, where's Van Connor? Van.
Oh, that's right. He
got your rehearsals in. I go, excuse me. And what's your name? And he looks at me. He's like, Ben. I was like, looking down the list. Ben who? He's like, Shepherd. And I just kind of paused. It's like, damn it.
If you could take back an event
I
in your
hadn't
life.
seen the guy in person except for on stage.
It was
it's
cute.
the bad motor finger.
Yeah,
there,
and
so.
that probably makes us, seem real.
Right. So anyhow, we did the rehearsals, and then we kind of couldn't bring our friends that were filming the Brandi thing there because it was kind of, McCready and Vetter may have shown up. They didn't want the location disclosed. So we run over to Brandi Carlile's place.
This was like somebody's private home.
Right.
It was like in Magnolia. It was like a huge,
our good friend
beautiful, gorgeous house in Magnolia. And I remember you saying was this 2017?
I think it was.
Yeah. So this was many years ago, and I was a much heavier guy then. And you're like, I think you said dress nice, right? And to me, that was jeans and a black shirt with a T-shirt from a bar underneath there. And I think you were pretty casual. And this was like it wasn't black tie, but people were looking pretty sharp.
The people there had money.
Yeah, they had money. And so I felt that we sort of stuck out, but that's okay.
But we were part of the video crew, the
crew, and it was great. And we were up on like this big patio. Rooftop, and shooting an interview with Brandi Carlile.
Right.
And then that was really fun. I would think there's a great shot of us and Brandi and Mark and Angie Ward, and really cool photo. And then we went inside.
Right. Where they performed. Like I said, it was all catered by Tom Douglas. So he was there with all his food. Everyone gathers around the living room, crams in. Brandi and the twins, they play a set, and it's just phenomenal. And it was, like I said, it was just so cool because the previous year was right before the Fire Watchers' daughters come out, and they told everyone to put their phone away. They're going to play a song called The Eye, and they don't want it leaked out at all.
Mm-hmm.
And like when you're playing a private event like that, they listen, and it was great. And it was like trying to describe how awesome it was to hear that song, and then it was phenomenal. So we were watching our clock, and we had to let them know. We're like, listen, we got to do the interview quick because we have to cut out because we have to go back to Record Store Day because I had to get the roster and get all the guest appearances lined up in order what they're playing with the set list with the Sonics, because the Sonics had such an amazing list of guests that sang with them. It was all the Seattle, it was their first opportunity to ever get a chance to see the Sonics. They never got a chance to do it when they were young.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention, just finishing off the Brandi Carlile portion, I've only had a few moments in my life where, like, how the heck did I get here? Like, what am I doing at this? And that I sort of had that feeling being there, dressed so casually in a room of very well-dressed, affluent Seattleites in a nice home, watching who has become one of the biggest artists in the world, just playing a living room show. Like, how did this happen to me?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, excuse me. It was kind of like that whole night was incredible to kind of watch. Now that you look back on it, it was like the Sonics were like the godfathers of Seattle, to what they meant to all those bands. And then all those bands were there to see it. And then knowing that, you know, Brandi said she was going to try to come by and watch it. You see what she's become. It's almost like just watching that torch that night from the Sonics to the Mudhoney Pearl Jam Soundgardens to there's Brandi Carlile taking it, just like proud person to be in the state because of her.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think you mentioned to Brandi, like, do you want to?
Yeah,
you want me to get you on the guest list?
Yeah, I was mentioning the Sonics. I was like, hey, Mike McCready will be there because I know they're friends. She's like, oh, cool. I go, did you want me to get you on the list? And she kind of just chuckled. She's like, no, I'll be okay. I'm all right with that. It's like
we just keep it real, right?
Yeah.
It was that. I thought that
we're
was
just
adorable.
Always offering the invitation.
You're always
it doesn't
the
matter
most
how big
adorable,
they are.
nicest guy, offering to help out anybody and do whatever.
Right.
You're so great.
So then it was crazy. So what they did, they kicked everybody out of Easy Street. They let all the crew, us guys, and
yeah, I vividly remember being outside, and I think wasn't our ticket wristband? Is that how we got in?
And it was sweatband.
Sweatband, yeah. And I remember like walking like along Easy Street and all the people just waiting to get in, and then as we go in, they're like they get to go in. Like I felt like, oh, geez, we're in the in crowd. That was
right.
It was really exclusive. Not a lot of people are going to see this, but we're there, and
it was just kind of like, it was kind of surreal because I just remember walking and I'm just kind of waiting, making sure the Sonics are okay because, you know, they're in their 70s now, you know, and they're just kind of nervous about it a little. And then I'm just thumbing through some albums with Larry Paripa, guitarist. And Eddie Vedder walks up to me.
Yeah, you've got a
He
great
kind of
photo
snuck
of the
through the back,
yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, Eddie," and we'd talk. We rehashed some stories about when we'd met a few times when we toured with them, opening for Pearl Jam with the Super Suckers and stuff. And he kind of pulls me aside. He's like, "I'm kind of nervous to meet Larry Paripa." And I go, "That's funny. He said the same about you."
Yeah.
And so I introduced them both, and it was kind of funny. So we brought him downstairs, and the band was just doing a dry rehearse of it was amazing. He played He's Waiting.
Yeah.
But all the guests were just they were like kids. Not only did they get to see their favorite band, they got to play with them.
Yeah, Chris Ballou went off. He had a great time.
Was so fun. And Van Connor, God, that was like the coolest thing for him, man. It was just everybody.
Yeah, I hadn't seen.
Like, oh my God, that's like the hardest drum song to play from the songs, and I had to play it, and it was just great. Everybody was so excited about it. It was just kind of that. I don't think there's going to be a better record store day experience in my life than that, because like I said, the monumental impact the Sonics had on all those bands, and yet we were a part of it.
Yeah, and so a big part of this is you were, I don't know how many photographers were there to shoot that show. Do you remember?
Jim Bennett was there, one of my favorite
Love Jim, such a nice guy, does great stuff.
He did all the album cover and all the artwork on the back for it and stuff, and it was just awesome.
So you were one of the guys. Didn't you get to shoot that show?
I shot the show, yeah.
So that was a pretty big honor for you.
It was, and then just all the fun candidates afterward when they kicked everyone out, locked the doors up. It was hanging out with Matt Lukin and Vedder.
Yeah.
That was entertainment just alone with Lukin.
Yeah, and I remember for a portion of the show, I was watching it with Chris Ballou and his wife.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, can I get you guys a beer? And Chris didn't want one, but I got it for his wife. So
yeah, it was just a fun night all the way around. And then, like I said, Matt Vaughn, the owner of Easy Street, just had the doors locked and a bunch of beer for us, and it was just an all night. It was great.
It was such a great day, and I hope you get to show everyone the great pictures.
Yeah,
you
we're gonna
took.
have it. And you know, the crazy thing is too is like I always look at that Brandi Carlile opportunity with me and how it almost never happened from the previous year. It was just, I almost learned a lesson, but luckily I didn't. What had happened was I was out late the night before, and I had a long day the next day. It was hot. I was doing a bunch of real estate photography. 3 o'clock, I get a phone call. It's just a number. I don't know who it is. It was a text. It said, "Hey, Brian, you want to shoot a rock star in Olympia tonight?" I'm thinking, okay, it's a Thursday in Olympia. Someone's going to play down at a little bar somewhere. And so I just kind of, yeah, right. I said, no, thank you. And I was like, I was tired. Mm-hmm. And I was getting thinking, well, that's kind of an asshole thing for me to just say no, thank you, because that's what I love to do, is shoot musicians. So I replied back, I go, I have my studios all set, ready for photos if they want band photos or live. Excuse me. And the text comes back, "No, we need you to shoot Brandi Carlile at the Government Mansion." And I was like, oh, what time do I need to be there? So I almost blew that opportunity.
Well, I think that you did that in a way that a lot of people would do that. I mean, we just get like, who the heck is this person calling me? And like,
right, especially when it was a number. So that lady called, it was the one that hosts the Brandi party, Jerry Andrews. Mm-hmm. Her and her wife, Amy, they were just still friends with them to this day. Mm-hmm. Sweetest people. Now they're part of, they're buying over in Walla Walla, starting up Brandi Carlile's wine, and they're just entrepreneurs.
Did they buy Adam West's
yes.
Batman's house over there?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And they proudly display my Willie Nelson photo over their mantle.
Awesome. They have a rental or something over there that
like
people can stay in.
Yeah. You can rent Adam West's childhood home.
How fun would that be?
It would be.
I'd rather stay in Robin's childhood home. Something was going on with Robin. He had issues. I'd like to stay in
Burt
his
Ward
home.
or Robin?
Either one.
Either one,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Adam West says, so I was sitting there going, God, that was an opportunity that if I ignored that and just didn't have that instinct to say, wait, what am I, Brian, come on, you're better than that, call back. And, geez, little do you know. So I'm going to learn, never take a text message too lately.
Well, thankfully at least it said, do you want to shoot a rock show? What if they just said, hey, Brian, how are you? And then waited for you to respond to tell you details.
No, they didn't say a rock show. They said a rock star. And I was thinking, like what rock stars in Olympia? I was like, I don't know.
Well, we do have a very active casino circuit. It could have been, I'm thinking of Jack. Who's the guy for Great White? It could have been him.
Jack Russell.
Jack Russell's in town.
Well, who else could it have been?
I don't know, but no, we don't want to offend anybody that's a fan of Great Writer. And it could have been anybody. That's what you're trying to say. It could have been anybody. You had the wherewithal, the mental and rock and roll wherewithal to return that text. And
right.
And
little did I know it was for Brandi Carlile.
Yeah. And so I would think that maybe something else will come up if, showing that you've done a couple things with them. And
now people, if they do watch this, are going to start texting me. He'll answer now.
Well, okay. Brian's number is 3.
No.
You know what? With modern technology, I don't know anybody's phone number. They're in my phone, but I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
I don't have the memory. I know my childhood phone numbers, but I can't remember anybody's phone number. So thank God.
It happens.
Thank God for smartphones. Thank you to the people of Apple, all the people from Android, all the people that make smartphones. You're doing a great service for dipshits. That's one of the only times I'm going to cuss, but when I call myself a dipshit, I mean it. Thanks for helping me out.
But we're going to get back to that Sonic show. But anyhow, the coolest thing is they released the album Live at Easy Street from that record store day.
I think on the back it mentions everybody that plays. Did we miss anybody that's on that album?
Well, let's go. Andy Paripa, who was the original Sonic's bassist, played Ben Shepherd.
Okay. We're never going to forget his name or his face.
Big Kahuna from Girl Trouble.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Chris Ballou, Eddie Vedder, Jason Kurtzen. He's a guitarist, and that's actually Rob Lynn's grandson.
Okay, I remember that.
Matt Lucan tried to play that night.
Did the song make it on the album?
It did.
Did it need a little remastering by somebody to make it sound good? Or
I'm sworn to secrecy, but Mark Pickerel was one of the sweetest guys.
Yeah,
I want to just do a whole segment on Mark Pickerel.
Let's go to Ellensburg and hang out with Mark Pickerel.
Love that guy. If you're watching this, Pickerel, you're the man. Rod Moody played Van Connor, Screaming Trees. So.
I had not seen him since the Screaming Trees days, and I was a little surprised to see that he had slimmed down quite a bit.
Right, and then we just recently saw him at a Circle Jerk show.
That we did, yeah. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, and then additional guest not on the recording, Calvin Johnson.
Oh, from
performed.
Olympia guy.
Emily Noakes, and then Mike McCready from Pearl Jam. I mean, how Mike McCready didn't make the cut? Well, I mean, it's like...
So is Emily Noakes, is she from that band Taco Cat?
Yes.
And so that's the word. Taco Cat is same backwards and forwards. I wish I knew the term for that.
Palindrome.
God dang, Kaz.
And then do you know what? Do you know what the longest palindrome ever thought of?
I don't. You are just going to dazzle me twice.
It's maybe my stupid knowledge I always talk about is going to come into play. Okay. So Soundgarden released Bad Motorfinger in a limited edition 2 CD set, compact disc day. The second one was called Psalms, Satan Oscillate My Metallic Sonatas.
Okay, yeah.
That's the longest palindrome I ever thought of.
Wow.
And that included like their version of Devo's Girl You Want.
A very good version.
Rad.
Yeah. Yeah,
Devo's
I think.
Rad.
Yeah, but I think, no offense to Devo fans, I prefer the Soundgarden version of that song.
I know, it's cool.
It's rad.
It's heavy. It's good.
It's heavy duty.
It is.
Yeah.
But this also on YouTube, type in Easy Street Records, Sonic's Record Store Day, anything, and it's all high quality video of that whole concert. So you can see all these guys playing with their hero.
And so speaking of that, I think that more than just musicians from Seattle, lots of people find these guys as their hero. Remember when Blag from the Dwarves came down to Portland to sing with them? And I recorded the whole video that's out on YouTube. I'm just not remembering the song that he sang with them. Do you remember right after?
He's Waiting.
He's Waiting, and it killed him.
Oh, it was awesome.
It was, and he was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to sing with these guys. He flew out from San Francisco, just to sing one song. So
because the Dwarves wanted him, they couldn't match it up quite with the release dates. And I remember part of my job was, Brian, we want you to call for their first tour they did after the release of the album. They wanted me to find talents to fill in and be guests at their shows. You know, kind of fun for them. So I got Dennis Casey from Flogging Molly. So they were in New York, and he lives upstate. He came down, and he played Cinderella with the Sonics.
I totally forgot that, yeah.
And then also when we had the big show at the Moore Theater, there were other guests like Chris Novoselic and...
yeah, I mentioned him earlier, but he was not at the record store.
Right, he was at the Moore Theater show.
I was remembering that wrong,
and Chris Ballou also.
And Mark Arm... He was not at record store days.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
Mark Arm, Mudhoney opened.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And Mark did Shot Down, which he just kills it. And but that was kind of, like I said, one of my favorite moments because, like I said, there we were with the grandfathers of Seattle with all the influential bands and then the whole Brandi Carlile experience. It was just like, it keeps going.
Yeah, and
so just really just seeing like all the torch.
So we got a couple lessons for people to learn from this. Make sure to maybe reply to that text when you don't know who it is. It might pay off. And then
don't ever underestimate a text.
Don't ever underestimate. Should get it tattooed or a bumper sticker. But then if you ever get a chance to go to one of these very exclusive events, I swear it's like 150 people have this great memory. It's way different than going and see a show where there's 18,000 people.
Right.
You're really in exclusive company, and it's awesome.
And actually, what I think I'll include on this, too, is I took a little video of the living room party with Brandi and the twins doing a little Fleetwood Mac The Chain. So.
I haven't seen the video, so
and,
I'll watch along.
I'll throw in photos of the events for you guys to kind of see how it looked, and then also the show at the Governor's Mansion and the whole Sonic show. We'll kind of incorporate them, I guess, through this whole episode, but definitely a memorable night for Seattle.
Yeah, and so I'm going to just come out of left field with this next comment. Are you ready?
I am ready.
So we are Olympia residents, Olympians, as you would. And so there's a local music legend, Jimmy Davies, from a couple
Dirty Birds. Wires.
Didn't he write a song that ended up on the last Sonics
our
album?
Good friend Jimmy is awesome. He wrote Bad Betty.
Yeah, and that's a great song. And I don't know if he plays sax on that, but he's a great saxophone player. So
Amazing.
And
it's cool because the songs had great ties with they first met Jimmy. The songs, like I said, they weren't back in full touring, making an album mode. They did a one-off show on New Year's Eve at Capitol Theater, and I want to say that was like 2010 maybe.
Yeah, I didn't, that was before our big run.
Right.
2011 started, so I didn't see that.
It was, they took such a liking to Jimmy that they had him play with them on stage sax at the end. It was just like kid in a candy store for him, man. It was just like Jimmy could have died that night.
Yeah.
And every time I say something like that, it's like, it's the happiest moment. But then you look now, since Jimmy's alive, now he got to write a song for the Sonics.
That's so cool.
So that is so cool.
Yeah, and then I don't think I even saw it at that show, but I have the Record Store Day poster for that show.
Right.
Really cool. It's right over there. You can see it.
I don't even think I have it.
Yeah, and so I feel bad because you went to that show. You got me into that show. I should have bought that and given it to you. Maybe one day I'll find another one. Yeah, I feel bad.
I got pictures to prove it.
Yeah.
I got the photos of it.
You're the genuine article, Kaz.
Yeah, I just,
Yeah.
bring anyone along for the ride.
Yeah, so I think that about wraps it up. What a great episode.
That was good.
Right? Thank you again to Mark and Kelsie. We're in this brand new location, and it turns out great and looks great and great sound and these fancy boom mics. This is almost like we're looking professional. I don't know if our content is professional, but we're well lit, cool mics, and this has been really great.
Our next few episodes, we're hopefully going to have some guests on here and different locations we're going to go to. But
yeah, we're having fun with this. We hope you are too. So make sure to like and subscribe. Give us some comments, share. What else you want to say?
I'm going to say I am Kaz.
And I'm Shay. Thanks for watching another episode of For the Record with Kaz and Shay. Peace. Bye-bye. Later.
Thank you.
Bye.